Hello. Today we'll be talking about setting up your receiver sensor module. For simplicity, I will be referring to your receiver sensor module as a RSM throughout the duration of this video. What is a RSM and what role does it play? The RSM is a sensor that is placed on the bearing surface to capture vibration data. After that data is captured, it then pushes that data over to the transponder. Some of the things that I will be going over in this video is recognizing the front side of your RSM, cleaning the surface area of the motor where the RSM will be placed, placing RSM on the bearing surface of the motor, making sure that all the RSMs are facing the same direction, and making sure that the RSMs are aligned with the motor shaft, taking photos of the RSM's orientation, and resetting the RSM. Recognizing the front side of the RSM. If you was holding an RSM in your hand and the rear view sticker was facing you, this is in fact the front side of the RSM. However, I also believe it is noteworthy to know the different pieces of the RSM just in case that they get damaged within your facility or upon receiving. The first thing on the RSM is its antenna. Below that will be considered the receiver. Under that is the coupler ring, and the last part is the sensor. Cleaning the surface area of a motor where the RSM will be placed. There are a couple things you need to take note of before placing your sensor. 1. Readings are only accurate when there is a direct transmission path from the bearing to the sensor. 2. The surface area must be cleaned of any dirt and grease. And 3. Strip the housing of any paint where the sensor is going to be placed. There are just a few things we want to keep in mind when you're prepping the bearing surface of a motor. However, some of the other things that we want to keep in mind when you're placing the RSM on the bearing surface motor is the sensor is mounted using a magnetic mount that has a pull force of 110 pounds. If the RSM is placed incorrectly, please avoid from pulling or twisting from the receiver part of the RSM. However, to remove the RSM, please grab the RSM by the sensor base and then tilt the magnet until you could get it off and then pull. The last thing we want you to be aware of is avoid placing the sensor on a guard, a cover, or a sheet of metal that will not reflect accurate vibration readings. Now that you are equipped with that information, you are ready to place the RSM on the bearing surface of the motor. Let's look at the sensor part of the RSM. Note that it has a 3-axis accelerometer in it, which means that the orientation and direction of the sensor is key to understanding vibration and information generated. Upon placing your sensor, the rear view stickers should all be facing in the same direction or 180 degrees from each other. Also, as depicted in the picture below, all sensors should be aligned with the shaft of the motor. This is another example of the RSMs being mounted to the motor. You can see that all the RSMs are still running along the shaft of the motor. However, you may notice that there are 2 RSMs on the top of the motor with their rear view stickers facing to the right, while the RSM on the bottom has its rear view sticker facing towards the left. These RSMs are still installed correctly. If you take a look at the stickers above and the stickers below, you'll notice that they're still facing 180 degrees of each other. Looking at the picture on the left, you have 2 RSMs. The RSM on the left is placed correctly, while the RSM on the right is placed incorrectly. The RSM on the right is placed incorrectly because it is mounted to the motor's frame. The motor's frame does not provide a direct transmission path to the motor's bearing. However, setting up all your RSMs correctly, your motor should look something like this. For this example, I'm going to use a generic term and just call all of my sensors monitoring point 1, 2, and 3. Open up your rear view software and go to your first monitoring point. You will notice that there is no data published on here. To get your receivers to start publishing data, you must give your RSM a reset. How do you reset your RSM? First, you need a magnet. You take a magnet to the upper left part of your RSM and swipe along the RSM down to the sensor. This here will start publishing data, as you can see in the picture on the right. This is another look at how your chart should look now. As your RSM resets, it will start to produce data for you every 3 hours. This is what your RSM will look like over a week period. Notice from this drop-down tab, as your RSM stays longer at your facility, you also can start looking at a month worth of data, 3 months worth of data, and so forth. The order of taking photos. After all RSMs are placed and all data is verified in ViewView software, a clear photo of each setup needs to be taken. Take a photo of the mechanical equipment with the RSMs mounted on it. After this photo is taken, please text this photo to 614-490-0790. Also add in the text field the sensor serial number that is on top of the RSM. Please take a photo of the nameplate or the equipment tag. Also send it to this number. Please take a photo of any piping and ductwork. Also send that to the number with the serial numbers included. The photos will automatically be integrated within the monitoring points and can be viewed on your VeriView software.